everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Season 2 of Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we had a grief-stricken royal physician who was affected by one of our most recent deaths, and now he is, still, I think, cuddled up in the medicine cat den, unwilling to look at any of the cats who are getting into trouble with their sprains and their aches, because he hasn't taken well to the fact that he is the last founder left after Flailstone passed on. So the clan is having to kind of get by without him for now, but it is the beginning of Leaf Bear. So yes, the cold has well and truly settled in, and I am curious to see what these cats are getting up to. So let us move along. So, like I said, it is the first turn of Leaf Bear. We are at Moon 105. Let's go into the Leader's Den real quick. We have all of our alliances that Queen Rainstar is so wonderfully maintaining. And then for events. Royal Clan does not have enough healthy royal physicians. Cats will be sick/hurt for longer and have a higher chance of dying. Yes, we are very much aware. Flare Freckle gazes up into Silver Pelt and finds that finally the grief has begun to lessen. Now, she was one of the cats alongside Icicle Speck, our royal physician, who took Flailstorm's death really hard, but it seems as though she's getting out of it. So at least, we have her back helping us with patrols and stuff. Garlic Glow slipped on some rocks and twisted her paw. And she's one of the elders as well, so that probably is going to be very, very painful for her, and she's going to have to nurse it because our royal physician is unfortunately not in the state to be doing his job. Cinnamon Tail has recovered from his sprain meanwhile, so we do have, some good news with a few of the cats. Okay. So yeah, apart from Garlic Glow's an elder, so she's not really going to be affected patrol-wise, but still she's going to be in pain. And Icicle Speck isn't, still grief-stricken, still in mourning, so he's not going to be able to go out to gather any herbs, or be much help to some of the other cats. But everyone else looks to be in good spirits, which is good for us. Let's jump to the Medicine Cat Den. Let's see, yes, we know about these. Icicle Speck was given time as treatment for grief-stricken. I love that he is, dosing himself with herbs, even though he's sick. And there's no one really else to look after them. Flare Freckle was given time as treatment for grief-stricken, and then she recovered. Cinnamon Tail was given Dandelion as treatment for sprain, and he recovered. Let's take a look at relationships now. Icicle Speck wants to spend the entire day with Shining Stripe. Okay. I'm pretty sure he's in love with Shining Stripe again. Actually, I think Icicle Speck and Bear Pelt both have 3 loves. Icicle Speck is in love with, his soulmates with Garlic Glow, and then he's in love with Cool Runner and Shining Stripe as well. And then Bear Pelt has Foxclaw, Ghost Feather, and I think he's recently become soulmates with... Oh wait, no, he hasn't, but they're getting close to becoming soulmates with Hemlock. Icicle Speck and Ghost Feather volunteer to go on an extra border patrol together. Shining Stripe is grateful for something Bear Pelt did. Ghost Feather accidentally hurts Shining Stripe during an argument between them. Flare Freckle thinks Cinnamon Tail is being thoughtful of others. Flare Freckle remembers something nice that Cinnamon Tail did. During a hunting patrol, Bear Pelt and Shining Stripe share a piece of prey that is too small to bring back to camp. So these two brothers are bonding, I love that. Bear Pelt is always happy to share a piece of fresh killed Foxclaw, so I like the idea that he went out on a hunt with his brother and then he brought back something, especially for Foxclaw. Inkfeather thinks her dreams might not come true with Garlic Glow. Inkfeather heard a story about something kind that River Whistle did. Cool Runner tries to do something like Queen Rainstar, but just ends up getting embarrassed. Cool Runner and Cinnamon Tail often look at each other and smile knowingly about something. A clanmate accuses Foxclaw of copying one of Flare Freckle's jokes. Foxclaw is surprised by Fierce Paw being thoughtful. Ghost Feather goes to tell a secret to Foxclaw, only for Foxclaw to tell someone else a secret to him. Ghost Feather feels like Fierce Paw wasn't listening to him. Yeah, we know how much he hates Fierce Paw. I think even the patrol they went on was not enough to like fix anything. Though Freezefur has been unhappy with Queen Rainstar, Freezefur helps her with something. Freezefur gets a bunch of clanmates up for morning stretches and they don't like it. Freezefur is grateful for something Fiercepaw did. Garlic Glow asks Cinnamon Tail if there's something in her teeth. Ghost Feather keeps yawning during Garlic Glow's story. Garlic Glow feels like Flare Freckle hasn't been paying much attention to her lately. Queen Rainstar and Garlic Glow debate about something interesting. They end up agreeing. Queen Rainstar is gossiping with Cinnamon Tail about Quill Runner. Ghost Feather gives advice to Queen Rainstar. It's not good advice, but Queen Rainstar appreciates the effort. Cinnamon Tail is jealous that Ink Feather got to go to the last gathering. River Whistle does something embarrassing in front of Icicle Speck, but Icicle Speck doesn't seem to mind. Hemlock learns something new about a clanmate from Ghost Feather. A cloud pass over Hemlock and Cinnamon Tail, shining a light on them. They interpret this as a sign that they're meant for great things soon. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if it has something to do with maybe... I mean, the only things I can think of in their lives immediately is like Hemlock having her litter. Like, is this a sign that she's gonna have a big litter or a very special litter maybe? And Cinnamon Tail, I think he recently started a romance with Freezefur, so is it a sign that he's gonna have a flourishing romance? I don't know. Fiercepaw runs into Foxclaw at the medicine den. They both have a tummy ache from two halves of the same prey. And that's all we have for events, so let's wrap up over here and move on to the cat list. Okay, let's continue with our cat list. A quick reminder on our loyalties over here. Now, there are only 3 cats I noticed changes with this time around. First up, we have Icicle Speck, our very grief-stricken royal physician. So Icicle Speck, guys, has had a romance gain with, hold on a second, Shining Stripe. Shining Stripe. So as you can see, he's like getting quite up there in terms of his love for Shining Stripe. I wouldn't be surprised if he maxed out his love with Shining Stripe, but it's like one-sided. It's very one-sided at this point in terms of, you know, the level of feelings. Now, with Icicle Speck, I kind of feel like his relationship with Quill Runner almost spoiled him to the point where he now feels as though he can somehow take responsibility for all his loves by binding them to him or tying them to him. But I don't think that would work with Shining Stripe per se, because Shining Stripe, we know, is a very morally upright cat that has been more focused on, you know, just a single romantic interest pretty much across his life. Like, not the same cat, but whenever he has committed to someone, he has decided to stick to them, right? And he hasn't really gotten kind of sidetracked like his brother Bearpelt or kind of strayed elsewhere. So I don't think Shining Stripe would be open to this kind of arrangement, but yeah, Icicle Speck, he kind of, I don't think he's holding himself back anymore when it comes to sharing his feelings and letting it grow. And, you know, he's taking a leaf from Bearpelt's book, but I don't think it's entirely like Bearpelt. Like Icicle Speck kind of wants to take responsibility for all of these cats that, you know, either have feelings for him, he's in love with, although in Quill Runner, I imagine it's more so the other way around. And recently, like, his feelings for Shining Stripe have been rekindling, and he's remembering his young love. Maybe being around Shining Stripe reminds him of his youngest self, and he kind of wants that. I don't know. It could be that, since, you know, his kids are like his sons are grown, and now one of them is starting to have their romances, so he feels like he's getting quite up there in age, and Shining Stripe makes him feel young again. It could very well be that. So okay, that was the first thing we had. The second cat I noticed a difference with was with Shining Stripe, who has also had a romance gain with Icicle Speck, but like a little smidge. And like I said, it's nowhere near the kind of intensity he has with Rainstar. I feel like this, for Shining Stripe, like the gain he had with Icicle Speck, it's probably more so Icicle Speck spending time with him and liking the time he spends with Shining Stripe, and then Shining Stripe maybe reminiscing about their younger days. Not necessarily like falling for Icicle Speck again, but his reminiscing their younger days and how things used to be. Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to interpret this. And then the final cat I noticed to change with was with Garlic Glow, who I'm pretty sure twisted her paw in this moon. She, guys, has had a romance lost with Flare Freckle. They're still friends, but she has pretty much lost all her feelings for Flare Freckle. And I'm pretty sure in this moon, she kind of felt like Flare Freckle wasn't paying much attention to her, and then she probably realized that this relationship, or this friendship, it was kind of special in a different way, but it's not that special anymore because they obviously don't kind of have the same priorities or feel the same. So Garlic Glow, she has kind of let whatever she felt for Flare Freckle, it's like faded away entirely now, which I mean is fine by me. I mean, she's obviously soulmates with Icicle Speck. I feel like ever since Icicle Speck took on Cool Runner as a mate, I think that Garlic Glow has been seeking other friendships to compensate for maybe the hurt she feels that she probably can't discuss with Icicle Speck, because she's the one who like gave Cool Runner the okay. Maybe, you know what, I could kind of see, because Garlic Glow is troublesome, guys. What if she said yes to Quill Runner? Like, yeah, you can, you can ask him if he would like to be your mate, or you can confess to him. Maybe Garlic Glow actually gave Quill Runner the go-ahead because she assumed that Icicle Speck would say no. I mean, she likes causing trouble. Maybe this was just another way of her kind of causing trouble for Icicle Speck and like teasing him a little bit, but it ended up becoming very serious. She said, yes, okay. Maybe like almost a prank almost, Like you can go and you can confess to him, and if he says yes, then I'm okay with it. But she actually thought that he would say no. Icicle Speck obviously didn't react that way. And I feel like ever since that, she's been trying to find other friendships in cats like Flare Freckle and Ink Feather, who have kind of experienced the way she has, having a mate, having offspring that have grown, and seeking a bit of, depth with them that ends up in a little bit of admiration and some romance. Okay, well, it's kind of interesting how sometimes we don't realize things about cats, or about certain characters until like moons and moons and moons afterwards. It suddenly clicks to us that, hold on a second, maybe this is why that happened. I'm kind of getting that sense with Garlic Glow right now. Okay, well, now that we have wrapped that up, let's jump over to Ink Feather and see if we can get a nice matchmaking session between Hemlock and Bear Pelt. And okay, platonic-like respect has increased, jealousy has decreased, so they weren't really in a romantic mood, and they didn't interact with each other in events either today. Yeah. It could be they kind of distracted with, other duties and such, or maybe they just wanted a nice day kind of conversing with each other and not really thinking about kittens. That could be it. Okay, let's see what everyone's doing for the day. Queen Rainstar gives a particularly rousing speech at a clan meeting. Hemlock can't stand this cold. Icicle Speck saw a kitty pet with no fur at all. Ink Feather took a nap in the clearing and woke up under a blanket of snow. Shining Stripes saw a yappy little dog today. Flare Freckle sorts the fresh kill pile from most to least aerodynamic. Bear Pelt is thinking about how awful kitty pet food must taste. Cool Runner wants to go on a patrol. Ghost Feather daydreams about being a warrior in Lion Clan. Foxclaw sneezes when a snowflake lands on his nose. Freeze Fur takes pride in how well run his patrols always are. River Whistle can't wait for New Leaf. Cinnamon Tail pounced on some movement under the snow like a fox. Fierce Paw is hoping Queen Rainstar notices her improvement. Oh, that's adorable. Because Rainstar is her mother, so Fierce Paw is probably wanting to impress her mother, the Queen, and she's kind of hoping that whatever strides she's making in training, I mean, they did have, I think in her last patrol, they came across a big dog and they kind of handled that very well. And then the episode before that, which was her first ever patrol, she went into a badger set, came out alive, but she's had two, like actually if you think about it, really drastic experiences, and maybe that's slowly building up her confidence, and she wants some acknowledgement from her mother that, look, she's doing really, really well. Oh, Fierce Boy is so cute. Garlic Glow is sharing her wisdom, and that is all we have for the cats. So let's wrap up over here and move on to patrols. Okay, let's continue with our patrols. We currently have 19.9 prey and we need 40, so we don't have to worry about food. We obviously can't send out our royal physician right now because he is still grieving, and it looks as though we're gonna have 2 patrols of 6. So let's see what teaching method River Whistle is gonna have this time around. Okay, so it seems as though River Whistle is going to stick to what he did last time, which is sending his apprentice, Fierce Paw, out without supervision to kind of be more independent and observe the other cats and see what she learns. And after the dog incident and seeing how carefully managed that was, I think he trusts a lot of the other cats to take care of her as well. I mean, they're not actually... In these kind of situations, because there's no active mentor in Freeze Paw's patrol, I don't consider it as the cat's like taking care. It's more like she has to be independent and take care of herself. Because obviously all the cats, they have things they need to get done. But I think he trusts the other cats to be organized enough that his apprentice can look after herself. So in the first patrol, we have Shining Stripe, Queen Rainstar, Hemlock, Quill Runner, Freeze Fur, and River Whistle, so let's see what they get up to. Queen Rainstar heads out with a group of her clanmates to go train. Proceed. Queen Rainstar doesn't take charge or lead the patrol, harrying off after some grand adventure. That just isn't her style. Instead, the cats are reminded of the kindness in their leader's heart as they watch Queen Rainstar help Shining Stripe up off the ground, reassure another clanmate when they get a move wrong. The warmth of these little sparks of empathy remind everyone why Royal Clan follows Queen Rainstar. Okay, so she had a really good patrol bonding with all of the clan members. And then we have our final patrol of 6 with Foxclaw, Flare Freckle, Fierce Paw, Ghostfella. I love how Ghostfella keeps ending up on patrols with Fierce Paw, even though he hates her. Oh, that's funny. Cinnamon Tail and Bear Pelt. So let's see what they get up to. Bear Pelt looks down at the group they have to try and teach, feeling doubtful. Camp maintenance isn't a glamorous topic, especially in the eyes of younger cats. Proceed. When the topic is clawing the rump of an enemy warrior, anyone can get a young hothead's attention. But catching and holding it when the lesson is about gathering materials to reinforce camp, that takes real skill, though Bear Pelt doesn't get acknowledged for it often. You know what though? I feel like after 2 patrols, like of really, high intensity stuff, I think someone like Fierce Paw would actually relish a chance to calm down and just talk about gathering materials where she's not coming across any predators. I think she would actually really, really enjoy this. So yeah, that was actually quite nice. But okay guys, with that said and done, I am gonna leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.